Welcome back to my final update here on this 1930 Ford coupe that I'm building. Basically all the hard work is done. We are now just in the transition towards paint. So I figured this would be a good chance to kind of show you the final chassis work that I have done, and yeah, just kind of do the final summary. So as you can see, we already have some color on the block. I do currently have a thick stun intake just mocked up there. It's not what I'm going to be using for this build. I have a very cool intake setup I will be using on this, but that is going to be kept a secret until the final. I also have a 36 Ford sedan seat frame, kind of my rat roddy seat that I've designed. I don't know if I'm going to be using that or the kit seat on this yet. I will be using the the upholstered door panels on this. I did try to do something with the unfinished door panels. I was in the process of combining the two from the kit to make a taller version, but they just weren't really turning out that great, so we will go with the upholstered door panels. But yeah, so I guess we'll get into the chassis. So where I left off, we had only finished the front end, and I have since finished the rear. So started off with creating some brackets here on the rear for the shock mount, or the spring mount, sorry. So we got those brackets done up, and then we have some lower brackets that are connecting to a set of split wishbones in the rear to match the front. Also added the battery and a I guess it would be a drive shaft retainer, but it's not a drive shaft, it's a torque tube, so I don't know what you would call it, but the retainer here, and that is basically it. The chassis is done. I did finish up the floor to match up with the frame, so we did add that notch here to the rear to clearance the spring. And then I did have some success with my 3D printer, which was great because I got a few of the last parts I needed to finish this build printed up. So one of the things is that the Revell kit comes with a not very great oil cleaner, and it is hollow on the back, which can possibly work if you're working on a closed car like the 48 Fords that this came out of, but when you're doing a hot rod where everything is exposed, that would be very obvious. So thankfully, from previous build, I did have a remote oil filter designed up, and I was able to print some of those for this kit. So these will go on the firewall. And will act as your oil cleaner. And then a few of the other parts I was able to design, like license plates, ignition coils, just a few final accessories to finish up the car. So the body is currently in paint. I just sprayed the first coat and then realized that I forgot to add the top hinges for the doors. I don't think the kit comes with top hinges. Actually, it did. They were just removed in the unchopping process. So I will have to add in those hinges again. It's super simple. I just have some 0.8 millimeter round styrene that I'll use as the hinges. But then I'll get that all done up and then finish on the body, and then it'll just be final assembly and some interior details. And then when I have all that done, I will show you all the finished product. The model contest that I had plans to submit this for is coming up on Saturday. It is currently Wednesday when I'm filming this, so I don't know if I'll be able to make it. I might be able to put some long hours in and finish it, but it's not looking too good, but no big deal. there's always future events to bring it to. And, so that's where we're going to stop for this week. Appreciate you guys following along on this. I know that this is my first kind of dive back into the YouTube world and don't really have that polished, YouTuber style that a lot of the other builders have now that they've been doing videos for years. But hopefully they're somewhat bearable, and the more videos I'll do, the more I take this seriously, the better they should get in theory. So again, thanks for following along on this, and we'll see you when the build is done.